Hey guys, Wisconsin Weekend Warrior here, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a long form video format. I am going to be showing you how to set up a three-way fly rig from scratch. So on my left here, I have the rod I use for bumping flies. This is a Cabela's Fish Eagle 7-foot. I believe this is a medium heavy 7-foot rod with a Fluger President 3500 or 35, whichever vernacular term you guys use, spooled with 10-pound spider wire stealth. I just switched this from 30. This is also my king reel. And the reason you want to use a larger reel is not because you need, all that power with the drag, is line capacity. Because with these fly setups, you can cast these absolutely clear across a river. And you want the extra line capacity so you can make long casts in order to work these flies. So I just spooled up with this 10-pound braid. I've got 6-pound monofilament backer here, and for the 6-pound mono, I am using the Trilene XL smooth casting. Monofilament is very key to this. So we'll get started here tying this. So the reason monofilament is really important is monofilament floats, fluorocarbon sinks. And when you are using flies, you want your line to float. So in this tackle box here, you can see I've got my flies. Let's see if I can't spill everything. I got weights here and swivels, 3-ways, and everything you need. So first, I'm going to start with the 3-way swivel here. I've got a couple different sizes in here just because of what stores had, but I usually go with the smallest one I have. Yeah, that one's got knots in it. Let's find one that doesn't have knots. There we go. Okay, so here we go. You've got your 3-way swivel here, real small, and you're going to tie this. I direct tie these to my braid because your line is so far away from where you your main line connects to 3-way that I don't think it's a big issue. That, and I don't feel like tying fluorocarbon leaders or leaders in general, besides what goes to my fly. So I'm just going to tie a polymer knot through here, through the top. So through the top eyelet, loop it through the big loop. This is brand new braid, so it's kind of stiff. Gotta get out to the river. So back through, pull it tight, and cut off your tag end. So, real easy. And now your 3-way swivel is attached. So, next, I'm going to set up the drop. So on your bottom, your 3-way swivel will sit like this, right? So on your bottom one here, I usually tie about a 1-foot leader. I always trim it long. You can trim it up when you finally get it attached. And at the bottom here, I just do a normal fisherman's knot. So in through one way, up, wrap it around, 8 times through the small hole, then through the big one. So that's usually what I do for these. Nothing real special. It is monofilament, after all. You could definitely go heavier than 6. Last year I used 8 and I had no problem. This year I'm experimenting with using a little bit lighter line. Now that might make you break off a bit more, but you're bumping flies in a river, you're going to break off. That's a given. Trim the tag end there. And as you can see, I have a lot of line here. So we're going to go ahead and trim this up or tie my knot higher up. Now, this is something that I do that in a lot of other fly videos you won't see people doing, is I attach a snap swivel for my weights. Because transporting these is a big issue, usually, or it can be, because you've got all that weight hanging off of your rod, and your rod, it causes a big tangled mess. The reason I do this is that I can avoid that and I don't have all that weight sliding off of my rod or, bouncing all around in my boat or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this. Put the excess over there. And now just same knot I used before, just the fisherman's knot. And I'm going to come through the swivel here. And again, just another fisherman's knot, about a foot, 10 inches to a foot away from the three-way swivel. Apologize if there's any background noise. I am doing this in my garage. So, it's also poor lighting for me. Great lighting for you guys. Very poor lighting for me. I can hardly see the line. So, there we go. Test your knots. That's good. You can see I've got a good distance between my three-way and the bottom here. I'm going to add just a little square knot just for extra security. You lose a bunch of these anyway. So go ahead and make sure that's tight. Cut that off. So you're about 10 inches to a foot off bottom with this. So this, you're popping on the bottom, your flies are going to be out this way, right? Your lines here, flies are out this way. So now comes the fly part. Now, this part is really up to you guys or the fishermen. Usually I always run Rising River flies. They are the best flies that I have found. They've got multiple different colors. They've got glows. They've got fathead. I really like this red one here. Those are gorgeous. These really natural looking ones are really nice. The glow ones are insane. Outdoor Habits has a great color pattern. And if you guys are in Wisconsin and fish the Rock River like I do, you most likely know Outdoor Habits. So now we have to tie on our flies. So I will do a good bit of line out from the three-way. So about 1.5 feet out from the three-way. So you're going to attach this to your last opening on your three-way here. Go ahead and tie this on. Just through here. Da, 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 da. And through the small end. Out through the big end. And there we go. Test that knot. It didn't slip, so I'm happy. So your weight's in my left hand, okay? All the way out here is going to be my first fly. Now I might shorten this up a little bit, depending. So I might shorten this up a good bit or leave it long. 100% preference, it doesn't matter. Usually I like to leave it a little bit longer. It just makes it float up a little bit higher and gets it higher up in the water column and it, away from your weight, basically. And it gives it more action in the current. Because these are light. Flies are very light, so they're going to sway in the current. Actually, I'm going to take about 4 inches off of this. Always throw this stuff away. If you're doing this in your boat, don't let it blow around. Now, fly selection. I always run double flies, but you can run 3 flies. You can run 1 fly. I always run doubles. And as you can see here, I've got a bunch of line tied on line from this Outdoor Habits fly. And I'm going to go ahead and cut those off. So it's nice and clean here. This is the Outdoor Habits fly, black, gold. This thing is killer, and it has caught me my only legal walleye this year out of the Rock River. So I'm going to tie this on to my fly line here. Now, I usually will come in from the top and then spin it. And again, this is just a normal fisherman's knot here. Spin it here. Small hole. Big hole. Through. Cut it. Don't use your teeth, folks. So there we go. Nice and tight. So now I'm going to, this is one fly. Okay, so we've got our one fly attached. Now I'm going to select our other color. I am going to go with, so I've got dark and now I'm going to go light. Red was a hot color for me last year, or last time I was out. So this is a little bit bigger presentation of a fly. Still, you know, it's a fly. It's not very big. Great hooks on these flies. I cannot speak highly enough about Rising River. These things are awesome. But I do have a knot in my eyelet here. So I'm going to cut that off. I should have done this all beforehand, but I didn't. So again, I'm going to make sure all this stuff is untangled here. And I'm going to grab another section of monofilament. And I'm going to tie this into the eyelet of the fly that I just tied. So you could also do it to the shank of the hook. I always just do it through the eyelet. So we're going to go into the eyelet here. And same knot that I have been tying, which is that fisherman's knot. Polymer knot I use for the braid. Fisherman's knot I use for everything else. So I'm going to just wrap this around here a few times. Obviously, because I've got another knot on here, I don't want to be twisting this line too much. Through that hole. And shoot. Up through that one. Go ahead and pull that tight. Pull them both. Make sure both knots are seated. Trim off your tag end. So, now we've got one fly. And we've got the line for the second one here. So we're going to tie on this last fly here. Now, you could also do another fly after this. It depends on your local regulations. I'm in Wisconsin, so we can only run 3, which means 3 hooks. So if you are using this rig that I'm tying right now, you cannot have 2 other set lines because you have 2 hooks. So we're going to go ahead and go through the hole here. Ow. These hooks are razor sharp. Through there. Through here. Oof, I accidentally bit the hair. Through there. And just make sure your knot's tight. That one slipped. So I'm going to trim the curly Q off. Yeah. And I'm going to retie. Always test your knots, folks. You don't want to lose that trophy walleye or a nice eater. Or just any fish. You don't want to lose fish. Test your knots. I don't think I did enough spins on that one. There we go. Through there. Ta-da. There, that sucker's not going anywhere. So, if we recap our rig here, we've got our 3-way with our swivel right there. We have our first fly, and we have our last fly. Now, you may be saying, well, my fly is hanging vertical like this. When these are in the water, they will not sit like this. This middle one will not sit like this. This middle one will look just as good as this back one here. So there you guys have it. This is the fly rig. This is a absolutely killer rig for when the water's cold, for when you're on a school of white bass. This rig is just awesome. And to put it away, usually I will take the last hook, I will put it into the butt of my rod, reel up the slack. There we go. Our second fly comes up to here. You have your swivel, and I'll just put this around my eyelet. That way it's a nice, neat little package here. So go ahead and put this around my package, or around my eyelet, and there we go. That is how you set up a three-way fly rig, guys. Throw these in the current. I have found good luck with these casting from shore, casting up current, letting the current sweep it and popping it as it sweeps it. Bumping these in the back of the boat, casting way out, dragging it back to the boat, bumping these in the current. That is another way that works absolutely phenomenal. And you want to really pay attention with flies on the pause. 9 times out of 10, or 10 times out of 10, I don't think I've hit one. White bass will bite when you're ripping it. Walleyes usually will hit this on the pause. So really pay attention when you are pausing it, and always make sure you are keeping tension on your line, because they will absolutely smoke these flies. So there you go, guys. If you have any more questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is the same. Leave a comment below. And I hope you guys are getting out and catching some walleyes using this rig. It is an absolutely killer rig. And God bless, tight lines, and I'll see you guys in the next video.